Everybody, welcome to the September edition of the KP Ready Virtual Demo Day. Before we get started, I wanted to do a couple of housekeeping items. If you're not aware, we have our upcoming AEC Summit on October 29th in Phoenix, Arizona. And then we also have a Vibathon on the 28th at the same location. And we still have a few spots left on that. So if you need to sign up still, go to our website at kpready.co, go to the events drop down, and you'll be able to navigate to each of those events that are upcoming. Today we've got 4 different technology providers. We have site controls, we have some robotics for the job site, AI for RFIs, and AI for submittal review. Okay, next up we'll have AI for RFI checking with Alex. Alex, if you want to take the screen, and the mic is yours.
Sure. Thank you, David. Thanks everyone for joining here. Let me share. Just confirming you can see this, David.
Yep.
Perfect. So this is a structural foundation plan for a 40-story high-rise in Canada. Usually when I'm one-on-one with folks, I ask them how many errors they think are in this plan, but I'll let you guys guess for yourselves. We actually found 40 or 30 different mistakes, 4 different types, right? The biggest of which was a RAF slab discrepancy. So the structural showed a 10-foot slab, geotechnical showed 8-foot. So this is like, one tiny tag on 2 sheets on a 600-page set. Very easy for a human to miss. 6 million pound difference in reinforced concrete. So extremely outsized negative impact for these small details that are important in construction, right? So over $1 million, 800K at least in this kind of error. And those are exactly the type of mistakes that we bring up at BuildCheck. So at BuildCheck, we are training computer vision models to understand construction drawings and essentially prevent RFIs, change orders, schedule delays, right? Everyone is doing AI agents these days. So we like to be specific, and our first application is doing exactly this, as we review construction documents for owners, so largely developers and general contractors, to eliminate design issues that are ruining their jobs and their margins, right? So I'm Alex, I'm the co-founder and CEO of BuildCheck. I was a contractor beforehand, so I studied mechanical engineering in Canada. I worked at Stantec doing industrial facilities, and then worked at thon doing hospital design builds. And of course, in design build, you take the risk. We would mess up the drawings often, and we would have to pay for it. I didn't know AI was a thing or was even, capable of doing these kinds of reviews until I went to Stanford to get my MBA. It's where I met my co-founders, Alex G, who's an experienced software engineer and machine learning researcher, and then Andre, who was a lawyer turned real estate developer from the East Coast. We founded the company in 2023, and we're fortunate to be backed by some of the best minds in the industry, including from AI in Mila and DeepMind, Contech founders from successful companies like FieldWire and PlanGrid, Brumbix, and then also venture capital investors, as well as angel investors from OpenAI, Stanford, Open Doors, CBRE, et cetera. So we released the product about a year ago, and I'll show you what it does in a second here. And we have over 19 states, projects in over 19 states and provinces, over 45 customers, and have reviewed now over 20,000 drawings. So maybe 3 or 4 billion in construction volume at this point. And really, this is because the customers like what we do and the value that we bring. So going into the problem a bit, I'm sure the folks on the attendee list here are in the business, so I don't need to belabor this too much, but design reviews are a huge issue in construction, right? It's a very complicated process. If I'm a developer, I need to hire an architect to design me my building. It's a very specialized field. It's becoming more and more siloed. So I subcontract all my specialty design, mechanical, electrical, structural to the subtrade or subconsultants. The architect is supposed to be collaborating, coordinating all these different scopes. But given the scale of a lot of these projects, often we see 300 sheets as our average, but up to 1,500 sheet projects. These are impossible for any human team to go through the nitty-gritty coordination work. to avoid these kinds of mistakes. And keep in mind, this is repeated, 5 or 10 times through the life cycle of a project. So the volume is immense and problems are bound to kind of slip through the cracks, right? So there's over 500 billion in construction overages per year. And if you do a root cause analysis, this was a study done in 2024, over 50% of those are caused by design. So either design was incorrect, it was issued too late, or it was incomplete, right? So at BuildCheck, we're trying to address that root cause problem at the source. And everyone knows what the ramifications are, right? It's change orders, it's city comments, delayed entitlement permits, and RFIs. So we did a case study with one of our customers, a mid-sized general contractor in the Bay Area, and they have over 10 million in costs annually that either they incur or they pass to their client, right? So all that to say, there seems to be this understanding in the industry, like, hey, overages are a thing of the industry. You just got to take it or leave it. And we're questioning that. We're asking, why can't your designs be perfect upfront? So what we've done is we've trained computer vision models to really understand and extract all the metadata from 2D PDF drawings. So you don't need any fancy BIM models, any Revit files, anything. We take the flat PDF images and have trained, in this case, an element detection model to extract all the data. So we do this by labeling. We've invested a ton in labeling to understand when you show the machine 1,000 doors, it learns to recognize what that is. And same with windows, same with walls, same with text extraction, grid line extraction, sister drawing analysis. And through that, we're able to understand where things are and what they are across the different sets and perform our list of checks. The product is then a platform where we surface these checks for you on our web application, and then also give you a place for you to coordinate with your design team and project team more broadly to get them closed out. So identify the checks, review them, and ultimately work them through pre-construction towards your perfect set of drawings. We have, like I mentioned, over 40 customers in the US and Canada. Some of the biggest names in the industry, BXP, of course, office developer, affordable housing developers, Bonneville is Midwestern US, Novo is a TI contractor, even architects in the Midwest, and university in Canada. So we've done anything from a small TI project for a big tech company all the way to, a shared podium, 3-point tower, mixed use project in the Northeast. So it's agnostic to the jurisdiction you're in as well as your asset type. In terms of the types of issues that we find in the ROI, we often see anywhere from a 10x to 40x in terms of a return. And really it's from finding those big issues that could really burn you on site. So this was for a case study we did with Novo Construction. We did 3 projects with them, TIs ranging from 5 million to 20 million, and found a number of issues, anything from, door schedule mismatches. No one went to construction to do your door schedule matching. So we do that for you, all the way to, structural misalignments between architectural shafts to life safety violations. If you have a 2-hour wall, we'll check for you if you have the right 90-minute doors. Do they have the right door hardware for that location? As well as things like powers to pumps. Do you have lighting matching your RCPs? All these different items. So in this case, we've caught over 400,000 or saved over 400,000 in cost savings, and then over 50 days on the schedule. That's all I have for you today. So happy to take any questions. And if you are interested or want to reach out, my email is above and I'll drop it in the chat as well.
Great, Alex. In terms of what it's able to detect, what is its current limitations and how are you guys expanding its capabilities, or is it able to completely cognitively analyze the drawings, or is it trained specifically on common questions?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we have a discrete list of checks that we're evaluating against. It's about a list of 300. It was 200. We're always adding to it. I kind of break it into 3 buckets. So at the lowest level, it's like drawing health. So do you have tags? Do you have dimensions, sheet index matching, detail references, all that kind of low level stuff. Then we have 2D clash detection. So of course we don't see in 3D, so I can't tell you about routing. but I can tell you if there's clashes in the same plane, right? So I have a ceiling, does my light and my diffuser clash, even cross plane? Like if I have a duct intake, does that show up on my architectural elevation? Or does my slab edge between architectural and structural match? And then I would say the last or the highest kind of level of checks we do is more logical based and omission related. So these are things you couldn't do in BIM or clash detection. So I have a pump on mechanical. Do I show power on electrical? I have a 2 RFI rated wall in my life safety plans. Is the wall assembly actually 2 hour? Is the door in that wall 90-minute? So you're preserving the boundary. We don't do code just yet. So our checks are jurisdiction agnostic. They're kind of like construction truisms. And then we don't do, I would say, like value engineering. Like we won't tell you, replace this detail with this. It's going to be much cheaper and more efficient to build this way. We're more pointing out the errors as opposed to improvements for now.
Great. Quite another question from the audience, and I'll have another one to follow up. Are you guys looking as a growth strategy to apply similar AI/ML techniques to check the 3D BIM models in the future? Or are you focused on 2D?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think like we deliberately went 2D, largely because it's most ubiquitous. Any model you have will eventually get flattened, unless you're in Europe where they do accept BIM. But most will get flattened to 2D for entitlement, for the city to permit it, and then for the trades to build it. So ultimately is the contract document. And there's a lot of instances and annotations and things to check in there that aren't on the model. That said, as BIM gets more and more popular, it's something we could expand to, but I'll say it's not in the roadmap for the near future.
Great. Now, what about like specifications? Are you guys comparing specifications to the drawings as well, or are you focused just on the drawing sets?
Yeah, we do specifications. I would say the checks on specs are mostly as it relates to are they coordinated with the drawings. So like one example is door hardware. So let's say you have your door schedule on the drawings, you have all the different door hardware, I guess, types. We'll check that against the specifications to make sure they're matching. There's no omissions. Same with like finishes. If you have a list of finishes on your drawings, we'll make sure there's a relevant spec section in the specs. We do not like extract all the rules from the specs and evaluate them exactly against all the drawings, unless there's a check for it in our discrete list. But that's the goal. Eventually, we want to be like a real-time compliance engine so that no matter what the rule is, whether it's a spec or it's a code or whatever, we understand the drawing so well that you can do that check against whatever rule you input.
Great. And what is the output after you process the drawings?
Yeah, so it's on this web application just like this. So you'll see, I assume I'm still sharing. So you can see all the comments identified on the left panel. There's, in this case, it was 192. We grouped the sheets relevant to that issue in one place. So you can quickly toggle between where the issue was found, between architectural or mechanical, et cetera. And then you can communicate with your team. So there is ability to add as many folks as you like in the project team, and then you can coordinate, assign it to each other, and there's workflows as well. So you can mark it from identify to do to resolve. So it's web-based. So it's quite easy for folks to use. You just send us the PDFs, we perform the review, and then upload the results to the web application for you.
Great. Well, it's like there's no other questions from the audience. So Alex, if you could just drop your contact info in there for everybody so they know who to reach out to if they want to get their hands on BuildCheck.